Right now on News 3, the Department of Transportation making public the proposed changes at the interchange where the Beltline meets the interstate. Governor Walker reaches a deal to keep Kimberly-Clark in Wisconsin, but the move isn't without some controversy. And later, hundreds of jobs may soon lose their licensing requirements in Wisconsin. A look at the thinking behind the idea and why it isn't sitting well with some.
This is News 3 at 10.
But first, we do have some breaking news. One person has been taken to a hospital after a house fire in Rock County. According to dispatchers, the call reporting that fire on Front Street in Orfordville came in just after 8 tonight. Multiple crews remain on the scene of that fire. They say flames are showing. First responders are expected to be at the scene for quite some time. We have a crew on the way. We will bring you the very latest on air and online at channel3000.com. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation getting some input from the community tonight about changes to the interchange where I-3990 meets Highway 1218, the Beltline. New tonight, our Amanda Quintana shows us the project plans.
If you're not ready for the Beltline exit off I-3990 going north, you might miss it. Well, because it's on your left. But come 2021, the exit for the Beltline in both directions could be on your right.
Eliminating that left-hand exit because a lot of people will get in the left lane. It's typically a passing lane and have to slow down in order to take that ramp to the westbound Beltline.
This is just one of 11 interchanges that will be redeveloped and 100 bridges in the 45 miles of the interstate, part of the $1.2 billion project, making it 3 lanes each way, all the way down to Beloit. Tonight, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation unveiled their preferred alternative to the public, asking for input.
Part of what's presented here, this is a marginal improvement versus doing what should be done in the first place.
But some don't think it will do enough. Matt Schenke of McFarland was sad to see updates to the Beltline's intersection with County Highway AB and US 51 cut from the project.
My family uses the County Highway AB intersection pretty much daily to get to and from where they're going, and it seems like at least once a month, if not once a week, there's an accident.
Still, he knows this change to the Beltline interchange from 3990 is important, one of the busiest in Madison. For about 1,000 feet after the exit, the interstate will drop to 2 lanes, then go back to 3.
And then the 3rd lane will be added back in from the eastbound Beltline ramp to the northbound interstate.
A change that's been questioned in the past.
And in the middle of it, we're going to create 2 lanes. It just doesn't seem to make sense.
But DOT is confident this plan will increase both safety and efficiency. Just the Beltline interchange construction is estimated to cost $75 to $90 million. Now, if you weren't able to go to that hearing tonight, you can also mail or email in your opinion to DOT, and we have that information on Channel 3000.
Boy, an interchange that everybody uses at some point. Amanda Quintana reporting tonight. Amanda, thank you. The FDA is zeroing in on the source of that E. coli outbreak that had to do with romaine lettuce. The FDA looking for the source, and tonight the administration says it appears the problem is coming from lettuce grown in 3 counties out in California. The FDA says a particular farm has not shipped any romaine lettuce since November 20th and has committed to issuing a recall. According to the CDC, 59 people in 15 states have been sickened by that romaine lettuce. Warmer weather over the next few days. A glimpse now at your forecast. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti on the backyard patio. Gary?
Well, we got some clouds tonight. We even had a couple of light rain showers roll through at least the southern part of the Madison area, but the bulk of the precipitation will probably be gone before too long. You can see rain across northern Illinois into southern Lake Michigan, some light snow up to the north. We're kind of in between. Temperatures are starting to get cold enough where we could see some flakes of snow if there are any rain showers out there, but you can see they're very, very light if there are any at all. So over the next couple of hours, there'd be the best chance of seeing any very light snow or some light freezing rain, and mainly south and east of Madison. Low temperatures this morning started out in the upper teens to the lower 20s. Here in Madison, we dropped to 19 degrees, but we warmed up to a high of 39 this afternoon, and to our south, temperatures were in the lower 40s down toward the Illinois state line and especially eastward toward Milwaukee. And current temperatures are still at or above freezing through much of southern Wisconsin and around freezing in the northwestern parts of our viewing area, although it will turn a little colder with time. By tomorrow morning, those temperatures will be down into the upper 20s. Look for plenty of sunshine for tomorrow and another mild day. Our high temperature topping out at 39 degrees. That's your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. Police have arrested a second man they believe is connected to the Visions nightclub shooting over the weekend. Madison police say 29-year-old Spencer Jackson IV pulled out a gun during a disturbance but did not fire the weapon. Following the shooting, the alder for that district is working now to get the club's liquor license revoked, as is a public petition that's going around. Dave Aaron says he will make that proposal at a council meeting in mid-January where citizen input will be crucial. Aaron's believes if the license is revoked, it could shut down the club entirely, something he is also in favor of. The school district of Baraboo taking safety precautions after 2 anti-Semitic incidents this week. Police are investigating anti-Semitic flyers as well as hateful video that has been circulating online this week. District officials say they do not believe the threats are credible, and events scheduled for next week will go on as planned. The Baraboo Acts program is a series of events scheduled for Monday and Tuesday in hopes of helping the community heal. Governor Scott Walker has reached a deal with Kimberly-Clark worth $28 million over 5 years to keep a plant open and save nearly 400 jobs. That deal, which did not need approval from the legislature, was reached under powers the governor currently has, but would soon be taken away under a bill Republicans passed in a lame duck session last week. Governor Walker also called for the bills from the legislature today, meaning he now has 6 days to take action on them. Governor-elect Tony Evers spent time in Washington today, the president inviting him and other newly elected governors to the White House. The group also met with cabinet members as part of a White House outreach effort. Outgoing House Speaker Paul Ryan will be giving his farewell speech next week. It'll be Wednesday, noon Central Time at the Library of Congress. After spending 20 years in Congress, he decided against seeking re-election this year. Next year, hundreds of professions regulated by the state of Wisconsin could lose their licensing requirements. It's something the Department of Safety and Professional Services is looking into right now. And Amy Reed joins us now to tell us more about why they are doing it and looking at this, Amy.
Right, this is under the direction of last year's assembly. They passed an act that requires this department to research just how necessary professional licenses are. This is for industries like medicine, hair and nail salons, electricians, and some of the people who work in those industries say this is not a good idea.
As the pharmacists and technicians prepare medicine, the licenses that allow them to do so hang right in sight.
Well, one thing that it guarantees is that, as it currently stands, pharmacists have to follow many rules and regulations by both the state and the federal level, and maintaining your license means following all those rules and regulations to the T.
Pharmacist William Bowen at the Newhauser Pharmacy said he doesn't mind the hours of work and the money that went into getting his license. He said that ensures a safe and professional workforce, but the Department of Safety and Professional Licensing is looking at if these licenses are really necessary. They sent out this email to license holders at the direction of a law passed in the 2017 State Assembly. It asked them to answer questions like if unregulated practice could harm the public or if the cost behind the licensing presents barriers. But Bowen said the licensing is in place for a reason, and the cost is a small price to pay for what it means.
Patient safety is number one, and ultimately we need to safeguard patients, basic safety by, maintaining the rules and regulations as they currently stand.
From about now until the 31st, the department will look over the survey results. Then they'll present those to next year's assembly, and lawmakers could then develop a law off of that.
All right. Amy, thank you very much. A new FCC policy could force public access television stations off cable. That policy would require stations like WISC-TV in Janesville to pay a fee to be on cable, a fee the station says they simply cannot afford. While WISC-TV broadcasts online and on social media, they say many people rely on having on-air broadcasts for church services and city council meetings. A Madison pub celebrating the release of a unique beer tonight. It contains CBD, and people flocked to try it tonight. The Great Dane Pub and Brewing Company's Green Glory CBD American Pale Ale contains 7 milligrams of CBD, which is believed to provide relief from pain and anxiety. The pub says it's the only kind of beer of its kind in Wisconsin, and participants say this beer has some potential.
It tastes really good. It tastes good. You have a little bit of an aftertaste, but it tastes like just an all-American APA, really. I feel like this is going to be a start of a trend that's opening up to a whole new passages.
The Great Dane says their beer does not contain any THC, which is the ingredient that causes a high. Still ahead tonight at 10. Our extended forecast and the diminishing chances for a white Christmas. Plus, a local woman calling for action in a battle with her health insurer after it says it won't cover a major medical procedure. Well, we've all heard it. Maybe we've said it ourselves. I never thought it would happen to me. All too often, that's the mindset when it comes to health insurance coverage and a serious illness. But what if you needed a life-altering surgery and your insurance was unwilling to cover it? One local woman has that same question. Leah Linscheid is answering it tonight in this Call for Action report.
I'm a Christian. I am very strong in my faith.
It started with head-splitting migraines.
I am a teacher. I love to teach.
Then problems speaking, sometimes using the wrong words in sentences.
Obviously, mom, wife, very important parts of my life.
Memory loss, sometimes forgetting her own children's names.
Is this?
Yeah, it's
These symptoms, life-altering, have changed how Bethany Kelly identifies herself.
Can I have a kiss? It's exhausting. Thank you.
From a woman of faith, a teacher, a mother, to a patient in never-ending pain.
You don't realize how much energy it takes out of you to be in constant pain all the time.
Bethany's family has been across the country to countless hospitals trying to find a cure. First, they found the source of her pain with help from a Houston doctor.
His diagnosis was a pineal cystic tumor. The longer it stays in there, and the more it grows, the more damage it's doing.
Surgery seemed to be the only option, a procedure this particular doctor has done before, except Bethany's insurance wasn't willing to cover it. She's appealed their decision more than once.
I filed for just the pre-surgery appointment, and it was denied. They said that I could get the same care within the Dean system. I haven't found anybody in the Dean system to help me.
Bethany says no surgeons within Dean's network have been willing to perform the operation. Without it, it's been hard to fulfill the roles that make Bethany Bethany.
I wasn't supposed to eat it? I thought I was. I have days where I have to cry out to God and say, God, please just take away the anger and take away the pain. Not only physically, but just the emotional pain of going through something that's scary.
One of the biggest challenges is that people don't understand exactly what their coverage is until they need to use it.
If this happened to you, would you even know where to start? For most of us, the answer is no, and that's because most of us don't pick out our own health plan.
We're having other people make those decisions for us, either the government or our employers.
Scott Kowalski is the VP of Marketing at WPS Health Solutions and teaches part-time over at Madison College. He says there are a couple of things we can do to make sure our plans are as comprehensive as possible. Oftentimes, employers will offer 2 or 3 options to choose from. So, do your homework.
We research weeks, months before we purchase an auto, before we purchase a car. Yet, we don't do that kind of same research when we purchase health insurance.
Also, do a little bit of digging on yourself.
What is your own history? How do you find yourself right now? Take stock of your lifestyle. So if you're smoking, or if you're a heavy drinker, or you participate in risky behavior like hang gliding and auto racing, those are things that you'd want to consider too.
If you're already in a plan with no chance to change right now, that's no excuse. Scott says be proactive, see what you're covered for, or find a timeline for when you can change your coverage.
Be a student of the game. Understand what you're buying, understand where your place in the world is at that particular time, and then, get help.
It's sad. I'm 26 years old. You get one of Daddy?
Not even 30 yet. Bethany's sense of self, who she is, has changed because of her inability to get surgery. She recently had to give up her beloved teaching job because of her symptoms.
Just knowing that I have 3 kids that I could better parent. I have a whole school of children that I love dearly, and not being able to do that, it's sad.
With this Call for Action report, I'm Leah Linscheid for WISC News 3.
Now, Bethany's insurance company, Dean Health Plan, told us its chief medical officer has expedited an independent review of her case to see if surgery is a medical necessity for her, but said it could not share more of the specifics in her case. Meanwhile, Bethany says she now has an appointment with a surgeon at UW Health. Still, should he decide to take on her operation, it would be completely out of pocket for her since UW is not in her network. All right, we look now at our forecast. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti taking a look at some warm and very pleasant weather if you don't want snow for the weekend, right, Gary?
I don't know if I'd call it warm, but still temperatures in the 40s are a good 10 degrees above average for this time of year. Tonight, it's warm enough that most of the precipitation we've seen from Madison on toward the south and east has been in the form of some very light rain showers. A few of them made it up into the Madison area. Farther to the north, north, cold enough for some flakes of snow. And eventually, some of this precipitation may mix in with a couple of flakes of snow or a little bit of very light freezing rain before it ends, probably not long after midnight. Otherwise, as we take a look at the high temperature trend over the next 7 days, this is leading, a week and a half before Christmas, and temperatures will be not only above normal, but above freezing every single day. So even if you did get some snow, that a lot of that would melt during the day, and we're not looking for much in the way of snow, maybe some flurries toward the end of next week. The 8 to 14-day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center calling for near normal temperatures over Wisconsin, but the first part of that period seeing above normal temperatures, turning a little colder right around Christmas, but not with much in the way of snow. In fact, the precipitation outlook for the same time, December 21st through the 27th, centered right over Christmas, calling for below normal precipitation, and that doesn't bode well for getting any additional snowfall. The European computer model, this is through Sunday, 6 p.m., the Sunday before Christmas, showing just maybe a ½ inch of snow over northern parts of Wisconsin. The GFS U.S. computer model showing maybe a couple of inches in the northern part of the state, but still here in southern Wisconsin, maybe a ½ inch. That would be mainly on Sunday afternoon, and then after that, very little in the way of snow expected. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. A little bit of haze there in the lights of the Capitol. We had a few showers earlier. High today 39. The low temperature started out at 19, and right now we're still above freezing at 34. Skies are mostly cloudy and the air is calm. High temperatures today in the 30s statewide, except in the southern part of the state where a few 40s were found. Milwaukee topped out at 42. Areas south of Madison were in the lower 40s. Current temperatures range from the 20s in northwestern Wisconsin to the low to mid 30s across the rest of the state. Milwaukee still shy of 40. And that's because we have upper level winds from the southwest. So that continues to bring in mild air. And not only that, the next weather system also has a southwesterly wind flow out ahead of it. So that's what will bring in the mild air for the weekend. As we check out the current weather map, there's a trough of low pressure out to the west of us. Just a wind shift more than anything else. The showers more in line with that stationary front to the south that divides air that's in the 30s here to the 50s down near the Ohio River. But even out to the west, those temperatures are not terribly cold. Our forecast for tonight calls for mostly cloudy skies, just a chance for maybe a couple of flakes of snow or a little bit of light freezing rain south and east of Madison. Low temperature dropping to 28. Tomorrow's high 39. Skies will become mostly sunny, so a pleasant day overall. On future track, you can see the clouds moving out later on tonight. Lows in the upper 20s. Highs tomorrow climbing into the upper 30s with plenty of sunshine. Clear skies tomorrow night. Temperatures dropping into the middle 20s. And Saturday, more sunshine. High temperatures upper 30s. Few places will reach the lower 40s. The 7 to 10 day forecast, those temperatures remain on the mild side into Sunday. 42 for a high. A little cooler for the start of next week, but temperatures still about 5 degrees above average. Some chances for some flurries in the Wednesday night to Thursday and Friday time frame. We'll have to wait until next Sunday for at least a chance for accumulating snow, and that's very iffy at this point. At least it'll be cold enough for anything to stick if it does fall.
All right, Gary, thank you. Badger men's basketball team rolls to a big win at the Kohl Center. The story coming up in sports.
The Badger men's basketball team was a 36-point favorite to beat Savannah State at the Kohl Center tonight. Well, take the Badgers and give the points. Wisconsin won by 41. Greg Gard was yelling at guys to play defense and get serious, but it had to be tough to get real serious because it was such a mismatch. Ethan Happ could have probably scored about 1,000,000 points tonight if he wanted, but he was reasonable, 18 points, 11 rebounds. The big news is Brad Davison got out of his recent shooting slump. He made 5 threes in the first half alone, 24 points for Davison in the game. Ty Strickland had an interesting night. He banked in not 1 but 2 threes. Yeah, banked them in. He scored 14. Then the big question, what walk-on would score at the end? It's Walt McGrory from Minneapolis. He makes the 3 that puts Wisconsin over 100. Final score, Wisconsin 101, Savannah State 60.
I think we like where we are, but we're definitely not satisfied. We know we know our record could be better. We've lost a couple games tight against really good teams, but we know how good of a team we are, and we're confident with that. So looking back on it, we wish we were 11-0 and think we could be, but 9-2 is not a bad place to be.
101-60, Wisconsin, 9-2 in the season with that win. The Badgers get a break for finals. Their next game a week from Saturday when Grambling State comes to the Kohl Center for an 11 a.m. tip. The Badger football team plays Miami in the Pinstripe Bowl 2 weeks from tonight. And there's been a trend in college football where more and more future NFL draft picks sit out the bowl games so they don't risk getting hurt. The Badgers have a few guys who could do that, but probable first-round pick offensive lineman Bo Benshaw isn't going to do that.
I'm still a Badger, so that's the biggest thing right now is the bowl game. But no, I personally don't understand why guys do that, but I don't know. It's my senior year, so I'm going to give everything I got for this team.
A bit of distraction for Miami heading into the Pinstripe Bowl. Hurricanes defensive coordinator Manny Diaz is named head coach at Temple today. Diaz is credited with creating the famous turnover chain awarded to a Miami player who gets a takeaway in the game. Diaz says he's not taking the turnover chain concept with him to Temple. He says the chain is a Miami thing. Tomorrow night, the Prep Mania Game of the Week features Madison Memorial at Verona in a battle for first place in Big 8 girls basketball. Bill Brophy and I will bring you the game live on channel3000.com tomorrow night, 7:15 from Verona. The Packers and Bears play for the 198th time Sunday at noon at Soldier Field. There have been plenty of December games at Soldier Field that have been very cold and very windy, but Sunday's forecast has temperatures in the low 40s at kickoff. That's okay with Packers wide receiver Randall Cobb.
And obviously, when the wind's blowing pretty hard and it's cold out, you definitely notice that being different than other places. But it looks like we're going to have pretty good weather, so I look forward to that. I look forward to the wind not blowing me over my stance.
Now, the Packers can still make the playoffs. It's simple. If the Packers win their last 3, Carolina loses at least once, Philadelphia loses at least once, Washington loses at least once, the Vikings lose at least 2, or Seattle loses all 3, the Packers are in. So there you go. We'll be right back.
Gary rejoins us. One final check of our forecast.
Temperatures are on the mild side for this time of year. You can see maybe a little bit of light rain still because temperatures are in the middle 30s right now. But over the next 7 to 10 days, those temperatures staying above normal in the 40s for the weekend. Some flurries toward the end of next week, but no cold air until the following weekend.
It's looking like a pretty good weekend.
Sure does.
Very nice. That's your sort of thing. If you don't want the snow, probably not going to have. Certainly not this weekend. Thanks for joining us for News 3 at 10. Have a good night.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.